Understand? There is so much snow in the Himalayas, so much ice, but the ice which decides to melt and flow only becomes the sacred Ganga. Not all. There is so much ice, but the ice which decides to melt and flow only becomes sacred Ganga. There is so much of Sadashiva, understand? The raw material, the source material, Sadashiva, is everywhere. But the raw material which decides to melt down and flow as Shakti only manifests in you as power. There is so much ice in the Himalayas, but the ice which decides to melt and flow only becomes sacred Ganga. There is so much of raw material, Sadashivatva, in all of us, but only the raw material which decides to melt, the Sadashiva which decides to melt and flow only manifests as powers, which decides to melt and only manifests as Shaktis. Like sun creates the Vatavarana for the ice to melt and flow. Understand? Sun itself does not melt. Then all the ice should have melted? No. Sun creates the Vatavarana. So any ice which wants to melt can come up and melt and flow. Sun itself cannot melt all the ice. Even after the sun comes, you decide not to melt and hide somewhere, you can't be melted. Sun only creates the Vatavarana for you to melt. Same way, the Vatavarana, the Sadashivatva in you to melt and flow, manifest as Shaktis, is responsibility. Understand? When Sadashiva takes responsibility, he flows as Shakti. In all of us, Sadashiva is there. But in which form? Morning, the great asana you like, Savasana? In that form. Only when the responsibility sun rises and you decide to take the responsibility, the Vatavarana, the ambience of responsibility, decision to be responsible, melts that Shava and flows as Shakti, makes you Shiva. Understand? It is Ganga makes Himalaya great. If the Ganga does not flow to the plains, we don't care about Himalayas. Even the Himalayas has how many billion tons of ice? Who cares? Poles have 100 times more ice than the Himalayas. But who cares? Because Ganga is not flowing from poles. North Pole and South Pole has million times more ice than the Himalayas. But why Himalayas is revered, respected, worshipped? Because it flows as Ganga. Even if you have million times more ice and you don't flow as Ganga, nobody will care. It is Ganga makes Himalaya sacred. Understand? If you flow as Shakti, that makes your Sadashivatva sacred. You are as much as Sadashiva as me. The only difference is I have created the ambience of responsibility and melt myself and flow as Shakti. When I flow as Shakti, because of the Ganga, understand, Himalayas is respected. You are like a North Pole and South Pole. North Pole and South Pole is like Shiva. Yes, they have raw material to be Shiva, but only when they melt and flow as Ganga, they will be Sadashiva. Till then, they are only in Shavasana. You being in Savasana, used to whom?